Welcome to Unity Inspired Living. Our community began in 1989 as a small worldwide Unity book study group, and we've continued the momentum as an ever-evolving spiritual community. Each Sunday, you will find dynamic thought leaders delivering inspiring messages and talented musicians sharing sound healing through their melody. Here, we embrace ancient spiritual traditions, universal truths, and emerging wisdom. Let's check out this Sunday message. We're so grateful you've joined us. Good morning, beloved souls. We're so grateful to gather here every Sunday morning in this space. My name is Amy Van Ling, and here at Unity Inspired Living, we gather for one simple reason: to explore what it means to live in awareness, aligned with God, with spirit, inspired, walking this path fully alive. Just really being present with our lives and what that means for all of us individually. And this space is for, I'd like to say, real conversation, open hearts, practical spirituality, where ancient wisdom sort of meets our everyday life and how we can navigate that together. And here you will see, experience amazing thought leaders and musicians. I like to call them all the modern mystics, and they remind us of who we are, and they bring that message through so many various ways. And we're so grateful for the inspiration that is here with us on Sunday mornings. That way we can relish in it and then take it out and ripple it out into the world. Tuning in. Hi, everybody. Okay, I see the feed moving. TJ's here, Kathy's here, Michael J is here. He says, I am here and there. Hello, Reverend TJ, love surrounding you. Yes, yes. Kathy says, good morning, everyone. Good to see you, TJ and Asher. Yes, Sonia, good morning. She said, good morning, Amy, Nancy, TJ, and Asher. Thank you for leading in service today. Our joy, our great joy. Together, we're grateful to be here because we are creating community. We get to say what this is all about, and we are creating love in action here, and we're happy to be together doing that. So the theme for this month is seeing through illusion, and I really love this theme because there's so much of life that we see through maybe a foggy lens or rose-colored lenses or whatever lenses you want to say. So we're talking about what is really happening. And I found that illusion often shows up sort of as the me versus them, and I like to go back to Jesus prayed that they may all be one. And so this is the message, like mystics across all traditions really echo this truth, that when we look through the veil of separation, where we see that me versus them, or us and they, and all of that, then we meet our oneness, our shared divinity. And I believe that when we lean into that and we really experience that transforms the world. We can bring that to the world, all the spaces that we encounter. So I'm glad that we are exploring this theme this month, and it is my joy and excitement and deep gratitude to welcome back Reverend TJ Woodward, a precious soul who demonstrates his divine essence in the world in so many, many ways. And we're so grateful that you give us your sacred yes to be here. And the message today is beyond the veil, waking up from illusion of separation. And I can't wait to dive into this, the theme, and then this topic specifically, because I know there is nobody better than TJ to take us there and really give us a rich discussion about this. So thank you, TJ. There is a workshop today. It follows our Facebook live stream in a Zoom room. So we'll close up here on the live stream, and then we'll move over to the Zoom room, and that link is on our homepage, unityinspiredliving.org. You'll see a picture of Asher and TJ, and then the link. Everybody's welcome. So come one, come all. I'll also post it here in the chat when we complete our live stream, and you can pop in whichever way is easiest for you. So we will see you there at 11:30 Pacific time. And that workshop is Living Beyond Illusion, a journey into conscious awareness. And it's a really great journey. So join us there to dive in. We're going to deep dive. We always deep dive. That's just the way it is. So thank you, TJ. We love you. We're grateful. And on the screen, we haven't seen Asher in a while. And so I am so thrilled that he is here with us this morning. Asher Stern is gifting us with his dynamic divine self. And we are so grateful, Asher, when you say yes and bring us your heart and your magical, magnificent music. It's soul stirring, and we're grateful for you. So thank you for being here with us this morning. We also have our shining star, Nancy, with us. She is here bringing her light and her abundantly beautiful heart, and she will be sharing our selected inspirational reading and our prayer of plenitude this morning. So thank you, Nancy, so very much for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us, because we're all creating this space together, and it's a shared sense of love and peace and compassion and all the good things and joy. So hi, Luinda. Luinda says, good morning, TJ, Asher, Amy, and Nancy. And Pat is here. She says, hello, back to California from Oregon. You were there for a while. The TJ, yay. Hi, Amy, Nancy, and Asher. Welcome in. Hi, Jennifer. I see you logging in. Welcome in, sweet, precious souls. I am so glad to see you here this morning. We are going to open up with our mission statement, just because I kind of like to bring us always back to, like, where is our ship going? Because if we don't remind ourselves, like, what are we doing here? We might forget. I might forget. My memory is. So our mission here, and I love that we are co-creating this, and we're on this mission together. I invite you to tune in, center yourself, whatever you do, place your hand on your heart to really ground in to what we are doing here. And we are fostering love and wisdom, inspiring transformation, offering compassionate outreach, and embracing unity. So thank you. Thank you for holding this space. Thank you for being on this mission with us. We are journeying together, and that there's something very joyous about that. So thank you. We are going to open with our community song, and I'm going to hand the screen over to Asher, and we invite you to sing along, because this gets the energy moving and your throat chakra open and all the good things. So thank you, Asher. We love and appreciate you.
Can you hear me all right? Good morning, y'all. I'm going to do the mantra that I've done before. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Now.
Ooh, I love that one. That is one of my favorites. Thank you, Asher. We're so grateful for you. It's a great way to start out our morning. We appreciate you. All right, Nancy, it's all yours. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Just a few important announcements for events coming up for November. Please join us after the service today for our always engaging and transformative and interactive workshop with TJ Woodward. The title is Living Beyond Illusion, A Journey into Conscious Awareness. This is our special time to share how we practice our conscious awareness that we are one with Spirit, actively engaged in the world. It begins at 11:30 to 12:30 on our Zoom website. Please go to unityinspiredliving.org to find the Zoom link on the homepage. All are welcome and contributions are graciously received via Zelle, PayPal, or check. Mark your calendars for our November community gathering, which will be Saturday, November 15th. If you are available to host this gathering, please call me as soon as possible. And if you are interested in hosting a third Saturday community gathering any month in 2026, please let me know that. And we continue our monthly meanderings and are now looking ahead to December and into the new year for events that are engaging and fun for our community. Please let Jan or me know of activities you are willing to organize and coordinate. It can be as simple as an afternoon at the movies, or lunch at your favorite restaurant, or a walk in the regional park. Just let us know and we will publicize it in the weekly connection. We also invite you to join others in our community in making a donation to the Mitchell Van Ling Memorial Fund to support Karen Mingus's granddaughter, Shaylin, who sustained major injuries in a catastrophic car accident earlier this summer. You can make a one-time or an ongoing contribution to our memorial fund via PayPal, Zelle, or personal check, and please put Karen Mingus's name in the notes. The GoFundMe page set up by Shaylin's family is closed, and we will be completing our fundraising for Shaylin at the end of December. So please make your contributions as soon as possible. And please stay connected with all that is going on here at Unity Inspired Living by checking in on our website, unityinspiredliving.org, and our Facebook page, Unity Inspired Living, and also reading our weekly connection, which comes to you to your email weekly on Wednesdays. And now for our inspirational reading for October's theme, Seeing Through Illusion. Our reading is from the Daily Word, October 2025. The word is life. I am radiant expression of God's infinite life and love. Life is much more than mere existence. It is the expression of God's infinite presence within me. Life is eternal, vibrant, and sacred, flowing through every part of me. As I align with divine wisdom, I recognize life is not just happening to me, but through me. I co-create with Spirit, shaping my experience with my thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Every moment holds the potential for renewal, growth, and joy. When I embrace life with faith and gratitude, I open myself to possibilities. Challenges become stepping stones, and each day becomes an opportunity to express more love, peace, and creativity. Life is a sacred gift, and I am here to live it fully. As I affirm my divinity, I embody the boundless, beautiful expression of life itself. Acts 17:28. In him we live and move and have our being. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. We are grateful for you in the spirit that you bring to us. Yes, we're here to live fully, and that's what we're talking about today. Thank you, dear. We love you. I'm going to hand the screen back over to Asher. He has another song for us this morning.
All right. This one's called Patience. Upon the morning light, we watch the sunrise. We breathe into our peace. We are all that we believe. Be patient and just breathe. does it mean to be patient? It means to wait with me. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait and see. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait and breathe. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait with peace. Be patient with you. Please be patient with me. This moment is the truth. You show me and I'll show you. The gifts you give will circle back to you. And our hearts will beat the sound of truth. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait with me. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait and see. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait and breathe. What does it mean to be patient? It means to wait with peace. Upon the morning light, watch the sunrise. We breathe into our peace. We are all that we believe. Be patient and just breathe.
That was so beautiful, Asher. Thank you for that. Simple reminder. Yeah, thank you. With a lot of heart and soul. Wait with peace. Okay, Nancy, you've got the stage.
Thank you. I invite you to join me now for our prayer of plenitude as we welcome and receive the glorious abundance today and every day. Take a deep breath, breathing in love and light, and hold it gently. Now release it slowly as you connect through your heart and with our message of prosperity. We come together today, opening our hearts and minds to the one Spirit, the light, infinite mind, knowing that there is only one power and one life, and that is the life of Spirit. We affirm that we are one with Spirit, and there is no one, nothing, that is separate from this oneness. We are one with that infinite mind that has created all that is. We know that the divine qualities of peace, of power, of plenty, of wisdom are already within each of us, and we embrace those qualities now. We step forward with love and anticipation, standing in the truth of who and what we are, saying yes to our prosperity, harmony, health, order, love, and our amazing expansion in all its forms. And with the greatest gratitude, we accept this transformation of our consciousness for ourselves and our community. We know that it is done, and we give thanks. Now we release, we let go, and we let Spirit do its perfect work through us. We trust the universe to provide for us. It is done, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And so it is. Beautiful. I'm going to hand the screen back over to Asher. He has our final song for us this morning. Thank you, Asher.
All right. Which one am I going to do? I'm going to do this new one. I don't have a name for it yet. Baby, how you feeling lately? This world is so crazy. It's blowing my mind. People down on the daily with someone else's hatred. Everybody's getting faded while the politicians choose what's right for you, for me, for everybody. How did it all become so askew? And how can we all just get back to the truth? Where we take a step now, darling, move ahead. Trust the whisper of your soul now, take a breath. Take a breath now, darling, breathe it in deep. Just release and let it all out, let it go. Let it go now, let it go. Mm-hmm. Baby, watching the news on the daily, getting filled up with some hatred. I got you questioning what's right for you, for me, for everybody. They want us all divided, cause they know if we united, we have more power than they can control. For you, for me, for everybody. How did it all become so askew? And how can we all just get back to the truth? Where we take a step now, darling, move ahead. Trust the whisper of your soul now, take a breath. Take a breath now, darling, breathe it in deep. Just release and let it all out, let it go. Let it go now, let it go. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love that one.
Thanks.
Thank you, Asher.
Thanks so much for having me on here and for your patience with me over the last year. I've been homeless and not having a
We love
place to
you.
be, so it's good to be
We
back.
love you.
Love you too.
Oh, we're so glad that you're back. Thank you. And this is why, because it just comes from Asher's soul. You can feel that. And that's why, we have so many various musicians come through here and they'll say, do you have any song in mind? And I always say, just let it come through you because it's always perfect. I don't want to mold and manipulate that. That's what I appreciate so much. Thank you for listening to your spirit and allowing whatever is here to come through, because I know that it's meant to be and it touches us deeply. So thank you for being you and showing up here for us. And thank you, Nancy, for being you and showing up here for us. We are so truly grateful for both of you and the space that you activated for us this morning. We love you. We bless you. We'll see you on this side of the live stream. Mwah. And I am here full of gratitude with TJ, Reverend TJ Woodward, and he has a divine message for us today. And before we get to that, I'm going to share with those of you who are just getting to know TJ a little bit about TJ. TJ Woodward is a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and revolutionary recovery expert who has helped countless people through his simple yet powerful teachings. He was given the honor of being ordained as an Agape minister by Dr. Michael Beckwith and is also the founding minister of Agape Bay Area in Oakland, which was the first satellite community of the Agape International Spiritual Center in LA. TJ is a featured thought leader on wholehearted.org, along with Brene Brown, Miriam Williamson, Dr. Gabor Mate, and many, many others. He is also the creator of the Conscious Recovery Method, which is a groundbreaking and effective approach to viewing and treating addiction. TJ is the author of the best-selling books Conscious Being, Awakening to Your True Nature, Conscious Recovery, A Fresh Perspective on Addiction, and Conscious Creation, 5 Steps to Embracing the Life of Your Dreams, as well as co-author of their accompanying workbooks, and they are amazing, all of them, and he is amazing, and I am so grateful that he is here with us. And I'm going to move us into a centering moment of prayer and then hand the screen right over. So in this moment, I embrace the pause and remember the presence of God is right here, right now, in the pulse of our heartbeat. It's beneath the thoughts we have, in the love that will never end. Here we just open up to the grace of simply being. In this presence, there's enough. There is enough love to hold us all. And today we bless Reverend TJ as he shares today's message, and we feel anchored in this peace, this knowing that that TJ brings from the deepest center of his being words of truth and love, and something that we are receiving with gratitude this morning. And I say that we are embracing this presence of love in front of us and the screen, and knowing that we get to receive the gift of the message flowing through TJ today. I release this word into the great expanse of love, in love, for love, as love. As we say, so it is. Ashe, namaste. Thank you, TJ. Take us away, or take us out of the illusion.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Amy. Thank you, Asha, for that incredible music. I'm just so grateful to be here. I was sitting with this topic, and the conversation today is beyond the veil, waking up from the illusion of separation. And during the meditation, I was kind of asking my inner wisdom, what is a veil, right? And I just immediately pictured a bride with a veil, right? It's just this covering that diffuses the image. And then the other thing that came up for me is when you buy an electronic, like you get a new phone, there's a protective coating over the screen. You buy a big TV, there's a protective coating. And I was really sitting with protective coating. And so I think that's really what we're talking about today. We're talking about how this protective coating has been established in our life that becomes a veil or a filter that we see life through. And if we put it in the 21st century sort of framework, if you look at your phone and you have all these different filters that you can use when you post a picture. And the picture itself, it stays the same, but based on what filter you put on top of the picture, you see it differently. And I think when I think back to my theater days, going back to theater days, if you've ever done lighting, you have these things called gels. And so the light is there, and then you might put a turquoise gel over it, which will create a particular mood or a particular feeling. You might put a red gel over it, which will create a different, more fiery experience, a warmer experience. That's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about the veil that is put on top of the light that we are. And so, if it's true, what the first principle of unity teaches, there is only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. If that is the truth of, oh, look, I got a thumbs down on that for some reason. That's interesting. Wait, we want to turn that to a thumbs up. So that's an interesting thing. There might be a message there. If it's true that there's one power and one presence, and if it's true that we come into the world as this light, what happens to that light? Does it get diminished? Or are there protective coatings that get put on top of that? And using that as a very simple metaphor, and in my own journey, I remember being a really small, pre-programmed human and absolutely knowing my effervescence, my joy, my happiness. I remember feeling radiant. And I also remember, and of course, my 3-year-old, 4-year-old, or 5-year-old mind did not understand I was putting these protective coatings on top of that light, but that's what happened. I started getting programmed by fairly well-intentioned people, many well-intentioned people, perhaps a few that weren't, but mostly well-intentioned, to try to protect me from the world. And so I started putting a filter on top, a veil on top of that light. I started seeing the world through this different lens, if you will. You know, Amy referred to rose-colored glasses, and we think about rose-colored glasses as like looking for the good in all. But what about these other filters that we put on where we start to look at the world through our own distorted illusion of separation? I imagine 100 years from now. So first of all, let's think about 100 years ago, 1925. If you go back to 1925 and you were to ask people in 1925 what they thought the experience of 2025 might be, they might have a few ideas. They would have a lot of different ideas of what life would look like, but it's unlikely they'd be able to actually understand where we're living and how we're living. So now go fast forward 100 years in the future. My guess is on some level, and of course, I am not going to pretend to know what 100 years from now is going to look like on planet Earth, but I have a sense they're going to look back and they're going to say, there was a group of people who were starting to understand oneness, not just as a concept, but to really start to point to that we're not actually separate. So that when we say things like connection, it's actually remembrance of who and what we are. And so when we talk about this protective coating or this veil, it's so simple in some ways. When we come in with the innocence of life, pre-programmed, we have an innate understanding of who and what we are. Even though our brains aren't developed enough, perhaps, to understand what's happening, we start to put these protective coatings on top of our light, if you will, and that starts to then color the way we see the world. And so then we grow up, we have experiences, we have more and more filters, more and more protective coatings, and then maybe we wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, I want my life to be different. I want to become more loving, more open, more kind. Maybe we get into recovery or therapy, or we go to a spiritual community and we say, I don't know what it is, but I want something different for myself. That is a pivotal moment that I know each of us has experienced when we say, okay, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something different. Perhaps that's what happened when you walked into a unity for the first time. Perhaps that's what happened when you got into recovery or into therapy or said, okay, I want more love in my life. I see what's happening in the world and I want to make a difference in the world. Then we're at this pivotal moment. And for many of us, we might believe then I want to change. I want to become something different, someone different. I want to learn to be more loving. I want to learn to connect. And what I want to offer today, as I always offer, is what if it's actually pretty much the opposite of what my mind might be telling me. My mind might be telling me something like there's something wrong with the world, there's something wrong with me, and I want to improve, I want to change the world, I want to become something. I'm inviting us to look at how we can unbecome all of those things that we started believing about ourselves and the world. In other words, the filters, the veils, the protective coatings that we've put on top of our light. And so that is a starting point. And the starting point is always now. Even though we might go back to like the first time we walked into a spiritual community or we had that question, is this all there is? Or how can my life look different than it is now? The true moment of change is always now. And the change is a change in perception. It's a change of where we put our energy. It's not about learning or changing or becoming something. It's about remembering the truth of who and what we are. It's about thinking about that first principle. There's only one power and one presence active in the universe in my life. When we go on at Unity to say that is the truth of who and what we are, that's a paraphrase of the principles, but that we can be that love and be that light in the world. And so if that's true, it might be a little inconvenient. And I want to share what I mean by it might be a little inconvenient, because nothing is more painful than 99% surrender. What do I mean by that? Yes, yes, yes. Everything is love and light. Yeah, but what about that person? Yeah, but what about that situation in the world? Yeah, but what about this part of me that I haven't been able to forgive myself for? Yeah, but what about the relationship I had with my parents? Yeah, but, yeah, but. That to me is where suffering lives in my own experience. And I always want to say this is true for it might not be true for you. I'm inviting you to take a look. I imagine the veil as like just something that we lift this coating, this protective coating up, and we see with not new eyes, but our original eyes. We see life through the innocence of a child, awe, wonder, curiosity. I have been talking about this, I think, for the last 2 years because it's still somehow so present for me that if you look at a pre-programmed human, 2 years old, 3 years old, they innately do what many of us are seeking in a spiritual path, in recovery, in therapy, in relationships. I want to learn to be more loving and present. A 3-year-old and a 2-year-old has that innately. I want to learn how to feel my feelings. They are really masterful at that until we start to teach them they shouldn't do that. I want to connect more until we say, it's not polite to stare like that. Or we say, you shouldn't ask that question. I remember my nephew when he was like maybe 3 years old, he sat on my lap and he looked at me and he said, Uncle TJ, your breath stinks. Just so innocent, right? Not taught yet. Oh, we don't say that. We might hurt someone. We might offend someone. I'm not necessarily suggesting we walk around saying everything that, comes through our mind, but there is an innocence that a pre-programmed human, a young person has. And to me, that is when we are living as spirit, living as spirit and allowing that spirit, that light to not have as many filters. And the reason I like to say beyond the veil, notice I didn't say tear the veil down or get rid of the veil or even let go of the veil, but just to look. I often say there are 3 steps: awareness, awareness, and awareness. I'm aware of the protective coatings that I have put over my light. And the reason that this protective coating thing is coming up for me so much is I do think many of us believe the intention is to get rid of it, be rid of the ego, be rid of the filters, be rid of these points of view so that we can be more kind and loving. What if instead of that, we were to say, how is this veil or this protective coating serving me? And how is it not? What do I truly desire? Well, I want more love and connection. I want to learn how to be more loving. What I'm inviting is when I hear myself saying that, say, oh, wait, it's not about learning to be more loving. That's the truth of who and what I am. It's not learning how to have more light. The light is there. The light is never diminished. How many times have we heard the metaphor that the sun is always shining, but the clouds are simply covering it? It doesn't mean the sun isn't shining. It's just that cloud is there. That's what we're talking about here. And so if I can say, okay, I have a thought I want to be more loving. Oh, wait, love is who I am. Remind myself of that truth and then start to look at all those things, those veils and those protective coatings that I've put on top of that light. Not from a place of what's wrong with that, but a starting point of where that developed, how it served me, and how it helped me feel safe. Because what I have come to realize is that we develop all these strategies, these veils, and these protective coatings because at some point in our life they felt necessary to feel safe. And then we start saying things like, I shouldn't have this veil. I want to let go of this. I want to get rid of or destroy this. I'm inviting a gentler approach. Wow, I am now aware that I have this coating, this veil, this framework, this philosophical framework about life. And I'm going to start to question that. I'm going to ask myself what might happen if I start to peek underneath that veil. What might happen if I were to start to allow that veil to be what it is? A thought, a point of view, a framework that I can either attach to or not. Can it be as simple as that's not who and what I am? And many of us, very early in life, start to identify with the illusion or the veil or the protective coating, and we end up forgetting the truth of who and what we are. So, spirituality, spiritual awakening is really about allowing ourselves to remember who and what we are, and then to start having a gentle relationship with the veil or the protective coating and say, what if I no longer need that to be safe? What if it's actually safer for me to remember my light? We have so many ideas about humility and about, a lot of times people, we get taught to be humble is to stay small. But the truth is, to stay humble is to be this beautiful, radiant light. That's the greatest definition of humility. And it's the opposite of what much of the world teaches us. And I'm not saying I am light and you are not, I am God and you are not, that we are all that. And that's what I think 100 years from now, they're going to really understand that we're all aspects of one. Even though the mystics have been saying this for thousands of years, we're starting to understand it not just as an intellectual concept, but as a way of being. Not just for the mystics, which, by the way, let me rephrase that. We are all mystics, but not just for the people we've labeled as mystics, but for each of us to understand that the mystical experience is simply understanding who and what we are that is beyond the veil and the protective coating. And so many of us have layer upon layer upon layer of these beliefs and ideas and experiences that end up clouding the light. And then because we start to identify with the veil, the illusion of separation, us and them, and good and bad, and right and wrong, we forget or believe we have forgotten who we really are. And in my experience, as soon as I recognize the illusion to be illusion, it starts to dissipate. In other words, I don't actually have to do anything with the veil, really. I don't actually have to do anything with the protective coating. Once I recognize it for what it is, a set of ideas and belief based on experience, often at a very early time in our life, that we have started to identify with as the truth of who and what we are. And in unity teachings, we call it relative reality, that which is always changing, that which we can see, touch, and taste. Our body is relative reality. Our bodies change over the years, but spirits, the truth of who and what we are, is unchangeable, unharmable. The truth of who and what we are, that's ultimate reality. And as we start to recognize the illusion of the veil and the illusion of the protective coating, they don't even need to go away. They simply lose their power. Ego is a beautiful thing, and many spiritual teachings, consciously or unconsciously, look at it as bad or wrong. And I love, and I quote her all the time on this, because when I heard Dr. Sue Morter say only ego would want ego to die, I fell in love with that statement, because not because, oh, what a beautiful thing. Let me just remember that and know that, because I realized at that point that my ego had been trying to get rid of my ego for about 25 years at that point, and I realized it was comical to me at that moment. I was like, isn't that funny that my mind wants my mind to stop thinking the way it does? My mind wants to stop sorting and separating and believing us and them and good and bad and right and wrong. And that's why we call it a spiritual practice or a meditation practice, because we are practicing for how we can be in the world, and we are practicing how to have a different relationship with our mind, not to be rid of it. And so, 21st century, I have my phone, I'm feeling very calm and centered, and I start to scroll, and there's that news story. I don't even know if it's true, by the way, especially now with AI. There's someone talking to me, I don't even know if it's them talking, but I hear it through my 27 protective coatings and my 37, I don't know why I'm coming up with these numbers, veils of existence that cause me to see that story through my lens. And then I have a reaction and I think it's about them. But it's always truly about me and my response. Now, this is where I say unity principles are inconvenient, because nothing is more painful than 99% surrender. And I say, well, of course, it's my perception, but not that person. Look what he's doing. Look what she's saying. That is wrong. I want to be clear about something here. Oh, Look, I got enough. That's so interesting. I don't know why I'm getting that. I usually get these. Oh gosh, technology. There's some message there somehow. But if I think that if you hear what I'm saying as let's pretend like things aren't happening in the world, that is not at all what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is question, 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 awareness, awareness, awareness. If I'm having reactivity, whose reactivity is it? If I'm angry, whose anger is it? Not because I want to go switch from blaming them to blaming me, but to say, oh, who am I really? Or is this the veil talking? Is this the illusion of separation? And we can shift the conversation then from unity principles are inconvenient to unity principles and other spiritual truths that have been around for thousands of years are absolute liberation. And the liberation isn't liberation from the world, but liberation from my veil and from my protective coatings. Because how many times have we heard something like my mom knows how to push my buttons because she installed them? And then I will go on to say, yes, that's true, but it's not her job to heal them. As a matter of fact, and I say this, and I get a little pushback on this, but I also will say that it's Temple Hayes that said this, and I've heard Michael Beckwith say it too. If you're over 30, you can no longer blame your parents. And I had someone say, please don't say that anymore. I'm 35 and I'm still trying to work through my issues with my parents. I'm not saying let's not look at the issues. The key word there is blame. And I know in my journey, I went from blaming the world to blaming myself. Blame, there's nothing wrong with blame, but it keeps me stuck in that low frequency, the us and them, and the good and bad, and the right and wrong. And the only way to really speak in true spirituality is always to speak in paradox. It's this and it's that. So I'm not going to pretend like something's not happening in the world, but if I'm hooked, I'm hooked. And that's what I want to pay attention to. Not because there's something wrong with getting hooked, but because if I get hooked and I'm reactive, I'm participating in the reactivity of the world. So if I want to know and understand that there is one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life, that we're each a spark of divinity, then I must also understand that that reactivity comes from one of the protective coatings and from one of the veils. So I hope we have a few minutes to have a conversation. I'm hoping there's some things that came up in this talk because we love questions, comments, and smart remarks. I know Amy is here and available, and you can put your comments or your questions in the feed right now. In closing, what I want to invite is this, and it's really just a question. Can it be that simple? What do I mean? Can it be that simple? Can it be as simple as we come into the world as love and light, and we come into a world that starts to tell us stories about the world, about ourselves, about each other, and about the nature of reality that causes us to put these veils and these protective coatings over that light? Can it be as simple as recognizing that as the illusion? Because once I see through that lens of something's wrong here, I see it out in the world. And then I think I need to change the world so that I can be free, or I need to change the world. It's like fighting for peace. That doesn't, there's nothing wrong with fighting for peace, except for that it doesn't actually work because we've been trying that for a long, long time. Being peace is something really different. Looking at the internal fight and struggle that I'm bringing to a situation allows me to gently move beyond the veil. Remember who I am, be the love, be the light, and then watch the miracles happen because we have heard this and several people get attributed to it. So I'm not even going to give a person's name. Life is either, everything in life is either a miracle or it's not. What is my choice? We have often forgotten the miracle of life and being a little kid and looking at a flower, a bumblebee, or an ant, or that magic that is life. That's the miracle, and it's ever present. And yet, somehow, we have been trained through a veil and through a protective coating to think that what's happening that's terrible is actually what's happening. Yes, but it's this tiny little piece. What happens when I expand my awareness and I remember who and what I am and I can be that love in the world? because life is a great experiment. So let's try it and see what happens. Peace and blessings, everyone. I know there's going to be questions, comments, and hopefully smart remarks so we can continue the conversation.
I think our favorite are the smart remarks.
Of course, absolutely.
Oh, TJ, thank you, thank you, thank you. What an amazing, deep, rich, thought-provoking, possibly a little pokey talk.
So we're poking the veil a little, right?
Yeah, we like to poke the bear a little bit, just enough, just a little bit, because sometimes it's just that little bit to kind of give a little nudge to, let me see that a little differently, and we appreciate that around here, we like that. We like to expand and say, wait a minute, I want to look at all angles and take accountability for all the protective coatings that I see through.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Let's go back and check in. So thrilled to be here, says Blossoming Truth Global Ministries. Yay! We're so glad you're here. Let's talk about, Noah says, love this. We're glad you're here.
I know.
Simplicities, yay! Blossoming Truth Global Ministries says, simplicity is key. Let it take us away. Yes. Noah says, seeing through the lens as whole and perfect and letting it be just that, not letting the lenses of the world define who we are and what we are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know sometimes my feed's a little slow, so I'll give it a minute for everybody to jot in their comments. I loved how we began. We were talking about 100 years ago and then 100 years into the future. I love this. On some level, people are going to say something like, there was this group of people starting to understand more of this, it was like how we look back and go, they were starting to get this and that. And could they really imagine like where we are now? Not really. Especially with all the technology and where we've gone with that, but like, what could it be? And yes, I'm so grateful. I say we're pioneers around here. I use that word a lot. And this is why, because I do feel like there's this movement, right? That we're part of, to, when I say like ripple out into the world, what we cultivate here, I mean that. I'm excited about that. Yes, we're doing something that is, we're being something, I should say, really, that's different. And speaking, I think, to what is to come in the future.
Yeah,
Yes, Michael J says, truth spoken. Go ahead,
I'm
TJ.
thinking about that quote. I think it was Henry Ford that said, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Right. And like,
Yes. Mhm.
that's such an interesting paradigm because we look at what we have and then say we want to like change it or expand upon it. But the truth is sometimes it's a quantum leap into something totally that our mind can't even conceive. Like, look how quickly we went from like the first flight, which was like, I don't know, 20 feet or whatever it was, and so like going to the moon. And I mean, I know there are people who say that we didn't actually go, but that's a whole other conversation. But like,
We're not
what
going
are,
there this morning.
well, we might, but what are the infinite
We
possibilities?
might.
What are the infinite possibilities?
That's right. And so that is part of holding space. We do talk about this also. We might not necessarily see exactly, but we hold the space for the possibilities, for the potential, for, I don't know. I just know that we're not going backwards. It's something forward, but I like that you said that, and that is true. I love that quote about faster horses, because that's really all people could see at that time. It's like cars, like moving vehicles. Like, what in the world would that be like? So yeah, we can't always see, that we can hold space for and know and give energy to the infinite possibilities. So I do love that. Thank you, Michael J. He says, love this truth spoken, Reverend TJ. Kathy says, great talk and reminders, TJ. Thank you. Is that Verona coming in? Blossoming Truth? It's me, Verona. Yay! Okay, so I follow the new account you have. I think I missed that. So she said, Verona says, yay, TJ. Yeah, this is all our jam. This is what we're all talking about around here. So let's go back to a couple of things that we were exploring. I love what you said, see with our original eyes.
Yeah.
And there's something else, beyond the veil. I like that you pointed out. It's like we're not tearing down the veil. tearing down the veil. We're not on this mission to be like,
Yep.
we want to just see beyond it.
Yeah.
And that is very, it's an important differentiation there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something more about that?
Well, I mean, it can be subtle, but it's also life changing, right? Because because I wasn't so aware that I had this protective coding of good and bad and right and wrong, that I was internalizing that. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have this veil, or I shouldn't be doing this. And so my early, and that's why I say it's inconvenient, because when I started to like lean into this first principle, I started to like look at all the ways I wasn't living it. And I went into this really self-critical place, like, oh, I should be more spiritual. I should be more loving. Like, why do I keep doing this? And then I started realizing that like a gentle relationship with those protective coatings and veils was not only more effective, but it was just so much lighter. And then I started to realize that I could actually choose something different for myself. And that's why I talk about meditation practice, right? Because I thought the goal of meditation was to quiet the mind. And then I realized it's to observe the mind. And that changed my life. And then that's the same with these protective coatings or veils. It's like, oh, I have these because they help me feel safe at some point, and I believe I need them. And so
They were brilliant strategies.
that's right.
And then we can come to the point of saying, are they still working? Or how are they working?
Yeah.
And using those questions that propel, and how is it serving? And I think that's really what you're talking about. To me, is like self-compassion too. It's not like beating ourselves up about these strategies. They worked for us. They're helpful. Like we survived things.
Yeah.
And now we get to just ask, is it still working? How is this serving? And that is compassionate versus, the blame shame game. Which, we all know what that's about. So we're doing something different. We're talking about something different here.
And it's fun until
Um,
it isn't.
it's fun until it isn't. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
blame
right,
game,
right,
the separation, and we see it
right.
with media and with politics, we see
Yes.
it heightened, right? They know
Yeah.
how to push a button to activate that part of ourselves.
Yeah, and I love how you mentioned this. Like this is just a simple question, and to create some awareness. Am I hooked? Am I being super reactive here? And just feeling that in your body. I call it the divine alarm clock. Like if there's anything, I operate at a certain. I know where I operate, and then if there's something that is like, ooh, I get to look at that. It's my divine alarm clock saying, "Come there." There's just something there for me
For
to
me.
exactly for me. Yes, not to fight against or get bristled up about. Just like, oh, okay, this gets me more information, more awareness about where I'm at and what's going on and how I can grow and move through the world, and examine, maybe explore all of these protective coatings. Because my gosh, there's sometimes you're like, what? I didn't know that was there.
Right. Just
Such an interesting human being.
yeah, and the layers, right? The layers. And I was also thinking about, something that our friend Michael Beckwith said, and I've heard him say it a few times, we're not here to save the world, we're here to serve the new paradigm. And
Uh-huh.
like to really like that sounds nice, but let's like, oh, we
Oh,
need to
yeah.
lean into that. I'm not here to save the world. I'm here to serve the new paradigm. What is the new paradigm? Well, the new paradigm is love. It's oneness. It's connection. It's curiosity. It's awe. It's the truth of who and what we are. Like that's the new paradigm.
Yeah.
And how
Right.
do I serve that paradigm? So I'm
Right.
always serving something.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
post, every post I have, every thought I have, every idea I have holds an energy and a frequency. And
Yes.
it's my responsibility not to blame myself for where I'm coming from, but to be aware of what it creates when I do.
Hmm. And as you're speaking, I'm just thinking, you said something about post, and I think it runs the gamut. It's from politics to just personal beliefs about, parenting or medical choices. It's like, wow, like just to ask yourself, what's getting so activated in me about this?
Yeah.
To feel so reactive and hooked into, um, what, and that gives us insight to ourselves, is know thyself, right? What coding, where did that like layer get? painted on. It's like a stain, like another color of a stain over the fence or
Oh,
something.
and I think about it like diffused. It's just diffused, right? Like, like in the old school filters that Hollywood actresses would want to have their,
Oh yes,
it's
yes,
like Vaseline or whatever. It's like I can't quite see clearly because,
yeah,
and then if you look at that as a metaphor, it's like, do I want to see clearly?
right.
Do I really want to see clearly, or do I enjoy seeing a diffused version of the world? And that's a question we each get to ask ourselves.
Because sometimes it's really like, what if I didn't believe this? Where would I belong? Or what would that look like? What would that mean for my life or who I am or my family, right? There's that this is when we talk about it's layered. It's
It is.
layered. And the more I don't know, the more aware we become though, it's you can't turn back. It's once it starts happening, it's like, yeah. I remember one time saying, you know, ignorance is bliss. It would be nice, to not see everything so clearly.
There's a reason they've
Uh,
said that for a long
yes,
time.
yes, yes, yes. And though, I think you said something really important toward the end. The principles, unity principles, I'm paraphrasing here, but offers us liberation. And so the
Right.
liberation we're talking about is from that hook, from that
Yes.
having to be angry, reactive, and your body is, if you haven't read The Body Keeps a Score, and it's a great book, but everything you're feeling, like your body's holding onto that tension, that angst, that anxiety, there's a cellular memory that
Right.
gets activated so you can say, oh, what is that? And know that on a even just on a human level, not talking spiritual level, like your body is having cortisol released and certain chemicals, that so just pay attention that your nervous system is getting affected by these hooks that are from these protective coatings. And we're not, hating on the protective coatings. Like we said, they were brilliant strategies. They were
Well, and
helpful.
there's collective protective coatings too. Like,
Yes.
like what does it mean to be a certain age? Right? Oh, let me hold that, or let me be this. And I've had a couple people recently because I had a milestone birthday, and people are like, "How do you have so much energy at your age?" And I'm like, "What? Isn't that interesting that we even add at your age to it?" Like there's a collective protective coding that says you're supposed to act a certain way at a certain age, and that shows up in our bodies, right? It shows up, and that's the foundation of unity teaching that I think sometimes we miss, that it started as a healing modality, not as a religion or a spiritual movement, but
That's
like it's really what we did. We looked at like how energy gets trapped in our body and what it creates,
that's
dis-ease,
right.
right? And so, and people like two different people I'm thinking of recently, like, how do you have so much energy? Like they wanted to know my diet, my exercise routine, and all of that is part of it. It's a very small part.
Yeah,
Life is energy. Like, am
yeah,
I willing to keep something buried or trapped? And what happens in my body if I do that?
right.
What happens? I just read this. I will say I did not fact check it, but I sent it to my husband because I'm like, see, honey, and LOL, because it was saying people who don't get sick often are people who verbalize and talk a lot. I'm like, see, honey, extroversion is great. but
We're
but
getting it all out.
I think what the study was really saying is we weren't burying,
That's right.
afraid to
That's right.
talk and like
Stuffing, stuffing,
stuffing,
stuffing.
stuffing, stuffing. Yeah. I'm
Because
not talking
eventually,
about extroversion, introversion. Please don't hear me saying that extroversion is better than introversion. I don't believe that. But
yeah,
if
yeah,
we're burying things and not revealing, or even to ourselves,
right,
because really
right.
that's the only person we're really hiding things from.
I call it abandoning yourself
Yeah.
when you're not going to speak your truth or speak up when you're really feeling something and you really suppress that. It's like you're abandoning yourself in some way, and that catches up. I think that just whoever you are, like it doesn't matter what you're extrovert introvert. It's just it will catch up, and because our body is always keeping the score literally with our health. So yeah, there's so many components to this conversation. And I just, we're here to talk about liberation, and that's what we're talking about. It's not having that grip, not having something be able to hook you that hard to where it's going to upset your nervous system and possibly your whole day or week, even, with
Or life.
uh, or life.
Or life, my whole life, I'm holding on to this protective coating and I'm in reactivity.
I mean, that is so true, right? I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big conversation. Thank you. Right. I'm thinking, short term, the moment when it hooks you, but if it's hooking you every day for your whole life, yeah, it's your whole life, then it's affected. Um, yeah, just paying attention. Okay, let me check in here and just see how we're doing. Pat says, always serving something. Yes. Michael J says, I feel much of what you say about these principles move around in my body. It feels good. Love everything. Yes. Good morning, Jeanette. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. Okay, beloved souls, we are going to close with our prayer of divine awakening, and then we're going to hydrate and nourish these wonderful vessels we have that hold our spirit. And then we're going to move into the Zoom room for our workshop to dive deep. I know you thought we were diving deep, we were just getting started.
That's right.
We're just getting started. So, okay, let me share my screen with you so everybody can speak this out loud. Make this your own prayer if it feels right for you, if it resonates. It should be on the screen, I think. Yes. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, and expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance, and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation and extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. Ashe. Thank you, TJ Woodward. We are so grateful for you. And we are so thankful for all of you tuning in with us because we co-create this space, and I am blessed to be here. This is a gift to be here. And we are going to take this little break. And so let's pop into the Zoom room in let's say 18 minutes. I love you all. Shine on, bright ones. Thank you, TJ. Blessings.